Is everybody you play against a coward? Well, they will be if you're playing this deck. This is Gornog, the Red Reaper. This is a deck that I decided to put together to play against my friends one day because I thought it would be cheap and silly, but it turns out it's actually really good. For context, there was one time where I cast literally 4 spells the entire game, yet my opponents all had to team up to remove me from the game because I was 1 attack away from winning. And this could very easily be a budget deck too. There are a few cards in here that have a price tag, but you could remove those and play literally any card instead of them and the deck would work just fine. The first few times I played this deck, I was actually playing with 42 lands in it by accident, because I accidentally had a bunch of extra mountains in the deck list. But it didn't even matter. So if there's an expensive card you don't want to play, just take it out and you can play literally anything instead. Just play a basic mountain. So what does Gornog do? First off, he is cool, but also he makes everything into cowards. Gornog costs 3 mana, 2 and a red. It's a Minotaur warrior, has 2 power and 3 toughness. It has haste, and it says, cowards can't block warriors. Whenever 1 or more warriors you control attack a player, target creature that player controls becomes a coward. Attacking warriors you control get +X/+0, where X is the number of cowards your opponents control. So first off, you want to be playing warriors. You want to be attacking, and you want to be attacking multiple players. You actually want your opponents to have more creatures so that you can make more cowards. And that's going to make your warriors bigger, but your opponent won't be able to block them because cowards can't block warriors. This card gets out of control very quickly, and you can win by combat damage in just a few turns, let alone winning with commander damage with Gornog here. We have quite a few creatures in the deck, and most of them are warriors. We're playing Rogrok, son of Roga. Because it costs 0 mana, it's a warrior, and it has these abilities, all of which are relevant. Bloodlust Insider is a warrior that can give our creatures haste. Cacophony Scamp is a very popular card in multiple formats, but it's also actually a warrior. And when this creature gets buffed from Gornog, it's kind of insane. Fireblade Charger does basically the same thing as Cacophony Scamp. Rosnacht, Heir of Roga is a cheap warrior, and also it's cool. Zergo Bellstriker is another cheap warrior. Ash Zealot is an aggressive warrior that can incidentally hate out some decks. Emberheart Challenger is another very popular warrior, and it works quite well with a lot of the equipments we have in the deck, because equipping Emberheart Challenger does trigger its Valiant ability. Kargan Intimidator is another card that has that line of text that says cowards can't block warriors, and it has 3 relevant abilities. Being able to use its ability to turn an extra creature into a coward is actually a pretty big deal. Moria Marauder is a warrior that can give us some card advantage. Sardine Avenger is another warrior that's in here because I like it, and it's another one that can incidentally hate out some strategies. Yavimaya Steel Crusher is one you'd frequently see in Draft Chaff from Dominaria United, but it's a warrior, and also it's artifact removal on a creature, so it's great for this deck. Death Greeter's Champion has double strike and can give other things double strike. Goblin Chain Whirler is one of my favorite creatures from back in the day, but it's a warrior and it's still very good. It loves sweeping away a bunch of creatures with 1 toughness. Lelia the Blade Reforged doesn't need much explanation because it's in a lot of decks, but it's a warrior. Markov Blade Master is a warrior with double strike that can grow very quickly. Professional Facebreaker is another warrior that's very popular, but it works quite well in this deck too. Enduring Courage is in here because it's a cute doge. Jaxus is a warrior that can copy things, and also it's insane with Cacophony Scamp. And Flame Rush Rider does basically the same thing. Neheb the Eternal is another very popular card for Commander, which is also a warrior. And Zealous Conscript is a warrior that can gain control of stuff. We have a few Planeswalkers in here because playing Planeswalkers is fun. There's a Chandra Dressed to Kill, which can ramp us and also give us impulse card draw. There's a Chandra Torch of Defiance, which can ramp us and also give us impulse card draw and also remove things. And there's a Chandra Flame Shaper, which can ramp us and also give us impulse card draw and also remove things and also make copies of stuff. We have a decent number of equipments in here because they work quite well with Gornog. Inquisitorial Rosette can make warriors and also give our creatures menace. Two-Handed Axe can give something double strike and also double creatures power. Mask of Memory is great for card draw. Embercleave is great for decks that want to be attacking, and Leyline Axe is very similar. Hexplate Ballbreaker is an equipment that can give us extra combat steps. And Chainsaw is in here because it's good, but also just imagine Gornog wielding a chainsaw. We also have a bit of card selection in cards like Faithless Looting, Demand Answers, Big Score, and Unexpected Windfall. Those last 2 can also ramp us a bit. We have some various removal spells here, with Spot Removal in Chain Lightning and Abrade. a board wipe in Chain Reaction, we have a Vandal Blast for artifact removal, and then we have cards like Fling, Kazul's Fury, and Soul's Fire that can really take advantage of having big creatures with lots of power. And there's a couple cards in here that I consider player removal with Teamer Battle Rage and Bulk Up. And we have a few cards here that can protect our creatures, so we have Bolt Bend and Return the Favor that can change the targets of things. Lightning Greaves is obviously a great piece of protection. Dolmen Gate can protect our creatures from dying in combat. And then there's also this card, which isn't really protection, but I have it in this category because I don't know where else to put it, but this is Flare of Duplication, and it's in here because I think it's fun. I guess it could be considered protection from counter spells, I don't know. We've got a few enchantments in here that do kind of similar things. There's Aggravated Assault that can give us extra combat steps, Berserker's Onslaught that gives our creatures double strike, and Gratuitous Violence, which makes our creatures deal double damage. And we're playing a few pieces of ramp in here. Seeing as we're playing a mono red deck, we kind of have to rely on artifact ramp, so that's what we've got. We have Felwar Stone, Arcane Signet, Mind Stone, Ruby Medallion, both Scepter of Eternal Glory and Throne of Eldraine, which are great for monocolored decks. There's an Ornithopter of Paradise, which is ramp, but it can also hold equipment pretty well. And then we've got Soul Ring. This is in the deck list, but I don't actually play this card in the deck because a while ago I realized that I just don't want to play Soul Ring. But I realize most people do, so it's in the list. And now for the lands, we've got a few utility lands here. There's Myriad Landscape for some slow ramp. War Room and Bonder's Enclave can help us with card draw. Mines of Moria for also slow ramp. There's an Arena of Glory in here to give our creatures haste. This one is a bit expensive now, but as I said before, you could just play a basic mountain instead of this if you don't want to shell out the cash for it. And then there's 3 cards here that I found to be very relevant. We have Rogue's Passage, Access Tunnel, and Escape Tunnel. It might seem a bit weird for these to be so good, seeing as Gornog makes it really hard for opponents to block anyway, but Gornog makes things into cowards when you attack. So that means you have to be attacking in order to get things going. However, if your opponents already have more creatures than you do attackers and you can't make all of them into cowards, it can kind of become hard to turn things into cowards. But these cards can allow you to attack in and keep turning things into cowards even if your opponent has more blockers. And notably, Gornog only has 2 power unless it's attacking, so it can work really well with Access Tunnel and Escape Tunnel. And then for the rest of the lands, we have 29 basic mountains. So that's the deck. As I said earlier, I built this because I thought it would be silly and fun, and it is that, but it turns out it's actually also really good as well. And I think this could work really well as a budget deck if you just take out a couple of the expensive cards. So let me know what you think of the deck. I'd be happy to read your suggestions in the comments below. If you're still watching though, thanks for watching. It'd be cool if you can like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Everyone should come join my Discord server. You can find a link to that in the video description below. And if you want to buy any of these cards, or even if you want to sell some of them, you should check out cardtrader.com. It's a service that's very similar to TCG Player, but you can use it anywhere in the world. And if you want to check it out, I definitely appreciate it if you use my affiliate link that you can also find in the video description. It helps out a lot. And also, I'd just like to take a moment to thank all the patrons that support me on Patreon. But otherwise though, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.